Hello there, this is Dara here from Nurture, and in this tutorial I'm going to talk about the different ways you can create a task or start creating a task on Nurture, okay? I'm not going to dive into each one individually. I'm going to follow up with an individual tutorial for each one after, but in this I'm just going to talk through the different ways you can start creating a task and when you might use them, okay? Now, the first one I just want to call out is at the top, we've got this task code section, okay? Now, what this does essentially is a colleague of mine might share a Nurture task they've previously created. Each task has its own unique code. They might share that code with me, and I can enter the code in here and I can essentially create a duplicate version of that task. Really useful for departments to be able to share tasks across colleagues. And it's a really handy starting point if I just want to get a colleague up to speed using Nurture. I could create my own task, and once I'm happy with it, share it with them, and they can just get started straight away with the same task I've created. Okay, I'll cover that in more depth in its own follow-up. Then if I actually want to generate a task using the Nurture AI, I have a couple of different options here. So I could upload a worksheet, I could upload a past exam question, or I could start from scratch. Okay. Now, these two options, uploading a worksheet and uploading a past exam question, do essentially the same thing, but are slightly different in terms of how we use our AI to generate them. But I would use either of these two options if I have either a worksheet or an exam question, and I know I want to use the exact questions from it, but I just want Nurture to add pedagogy aligned success criteria to them. So really useful if you have a worksheet or a past exam question and you just want to plug it into Nurture, and Nurture will add success criteria to it, and then the students will use those exact questions. Okay. Starting from scratch is a bit more of an open environment where you can just describe what sort of task you want to create. You can select the number of questions you want, the style of questions, the difficulty of those questions, and also anything else that you want to basically generate a task from. You can also upload a source in this start from scratch option. So what I mean by that is if you have a source and you want to generate questions from it, the assistant can do that. Okay. Very, very important to note that that's the difference between start from scratch and these two options. Is let's say I have a source but there's no questions on it, or I have a source and maybe there's some questions on the worksheet, but I don't want to use those exact questions. I would choose start from scratch, and then it will use the source and it would create new questions from it. But if I have my worksheet or an exam question, I'm using either of these here. Okay. But starting from scratch is a little bit more flexible in what it initially creates. The final point I just want to make is this is just how you want to start creating a task. Okay. Once it generates initial task, you're going to be able to refine it however you like using the Nurture AI, or manually refine it if that's what you wish to do. The whole purpose of this screen is basically how do you want to start creating your task. It's not, it's not going to immediately just assign a task from a worksheet without you having final approval on it. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us and we'd be more than happy to help.